We're getting you geared up for the annual spring cleanup in episode 115 of the Love and Lebanon podcast. This year's event is April 20th through the 22nd, and a couple of volunteers are here to get us ready. Jennifer Lawrence and Allen Milburn stopped by to highlight the effort, sharing how picking up just one piece of trash can have a positive ripple effect on the community. Episode 115 starts now.
Welcome to the Love and Lebanon podcast, highlighting all the great things happening in Lebanon, Indiana. Have an idea for an episode? Send an email to loveandlebanon@lebanon.in.gov.
Hey everybody, on this episode of our podcast, we are keeping it clean. All of our episodes, let's be honest, are clean. They're family friendly, and if not, I've got a little beep that I can use. I've only had to use that a couple different times. But this is a clean podcast, and for another reason it's clean, we're talking about the Cleanest City. The annual spring cleanup is coming up on April 20th through the 22nd. A couple of the organizers, the committee chairman, and also he would call himself a volunteer, but he wears many hats. We've got Jennifer Lawrence and Allen Milburn joining us here on this episode of the podcast. Guys, thanks for being here this morning. Really appreciate it.
We're excited to be here.
Our pleasure, absolutely.
And how excited are both of you to get things going another year, another chance to get out and form some teams and be part of the annual spring cleanup for the Cleanest City?
We have so many events throughout the year, but this is one of our big ones, so we're excited for it to be right around the corner.
Every year's a renewal, another opportunity, so we're excited.
And a picture's been taken to kind of kick some things off. It starts next Thursday, but we talked before we hit record that the time of year is a little bit different this year. Jennifer, can you kind of talk about kind of coinciding with a national holiday to help kind of drive it home to get that kind of cleanest city thought in our mindset?
Yeah, over about the last 12 years, we've really had this big spring cleanup in May. That's always been our kind of go-to. And we talked it over, and this year we really thought, why not have it in April? As you said, a big national holiday that we all celebrate. It's Earth Day, Earth Month, Earth Week. I celebrate them all. So we have moved it up to April 20th through the 22nd to coincide with Earth Day.
And Alan, how have you seen it change over the years, the spring cleanup? We talked about the date changing and a number of different years, and I've asked a couple different times, and it's tough to kind of pinpoint when the Cleanest City really effort took place and how many years this is, and it just kind of goes and no one's keeping actual tally on it. But how have you seen it change over the years? You've been with this effort for a number of years. It's a Rotary initiative, and you guys have really kind of led the charge when helping to keep the city clean.
Well, you know, it's like every project that starts out small and grows. And so over the years, it's been interesting and very exciting to see how people in the community have bought into the program and look forward to that annual cleanup.
You guys remember the humble beginnings? How humble was it? Because now it's the neon shirts and there are trash grabbers and all those things. I'm guessing very few of those existed in year one. Just guessing.
No, I think it might be nice to give a little background on how this all started.
It started with a wonderful, I wouldn't say humble, but a trip to Norway by our granddaddy of Cleanest City, Jerry Erskine.
That's the official title, right? The
granddaddy of, I'm not sure if I've had that approved through him or not, but a Lebanon Rotarian took his wife to Norway, and the first thing he noticed, obviously beautiful country, but was how clean the streets were. Litter nowhere. And it really made an effect on him, which is amazing. Came back to his Lebanon Rotary Club and said, hey, I want you to buy in for 3 years. We're going to make Lebanon the cleanest city in Indiana. And we're making it that, right? So Rotary bought in. 3 years passed quickly. And we quickly realized, and that group grew beyond Lebanon Rotary. Lots of service organizations. The city has been a great partner for years and years. And we saw after 3 years, this isn't something that just stops. It keeps growing. It keeps going. And we want to teach the young crowd that this is how you grow up and this is how you treat your community and you have pride in it. And it's working. We've seen tons of improvement, but it's just something that has to keep going. There's no deadline.
And my next question, guys, was going to talk about the why, and your personal why is coming up a little bit later on in the podcast. But this mission, the why, and there's you like to be able to be kind of confident in being able to say, yeah, we're going to get all the trash and it's going to be gone. But that's a tough ask and a tough mission. But I think you hit it on the head, Jennifer. The goal here is to really have people take pride in their community and see something, see a need, meet a need, and being able to do that, maybe not just on one day or a set of days, but all the time. Is that kind of the way that the granddaddy of them all saw it, and how it's kind of trickled down from years since then?
Yeah, the current Rotary International president, her name is Jennifer Jones, which I like her name already, but she said if you want to be a part of a good society, you have to be the one to help build it. And it's like, you know what? It takes each one of us to band together and take this effort and move it forward. And again, Lebanon is a great place. We have tons and tons of visitors. So we could have every resident of Lebanon picking up trash, but you know what? We have all these visitors too. So we have to do our part to kind of cover our bases. But we're doing it in a lot of different ways, between signs and cigarette butt buckets and these litter cleanups and Throwaway Thursdays. And so lots of different efforts, but all for really to build a better society and a better community.
We're talking with Allen Milburn and Jennifer Lawrence here, getting ready for the annual spring cleanup on April 20th through the 22nd. Now, if you can take me back a couple of years, you used to be one day, and you would get your team together, and I remember the kickoffs would happen with coffee and donuts, and here we go, you pick up your stuff, and it was one day, full court press, and being able to do that. Now it's kind of changed a little bit. Has that been effective? Have you found that to be effective with people to be able to kind of choose their own adventure as far as when they serve and how they do that?
Yeah, one of the things that I think is important, and I'll give a shout out to those folks who are doing this and have committed. It started out as a one-day project, but now it's a 3-day project, which tells you something about how it's growing. But in the meantime, there have been other things that have happened, I think, that are really important. And one of those is the fact that individuals, as well as families, as well as organizations, have adopted areas in our city that they pledge to take care of and police and take care of picking up litter. And that's a year-round project. It's not just 3 days. So that effort has made a difference, too, in terms of commitment. There are signs that give those folks some recognition, but it also is a reminder to the public that, oh, hey, there is a Cleanest City effort here. So that's one of the things that I've been pleased with and excited about.
And Jennifer, if we can talk numbers, has it been effective numerically for the number of people serving and being able to give their time to have over a course of a number of days instead of the one day, and having that kind of planning ahead that's needed?
Yeah, as a mom, Saturday mornings are hard. They're difficult. We're at every ball field, every soccer field. And I saw that kind of quickly that, Saturday mornings are very, very precious. And while this is very important, family, usually takes precedence. So spreading it out over 3 days, a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and this is what we've kind of preached. Your team can clean up whenever it's good for you. It's flexibility, right? So if they can do it at lunch hour, they can do it after work. They can do it on Saturday morning. Whatever works for that team. That's why we've kind of opened it up. And of course, we have a team that, we can clean up Wednesday or we can clean up Sunday. Guess what? That's fantastic. We're not turning anyone down.
I was going to say, the answer is usually yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
How have you seen that kind of lead to the number of volunteers and teams? We were talking, there's kind of a marker with COVID, and that kind of threw a wrench in many, many things for everybody. And again, we're talking with Jennifer Lawrence and Allen Milburn, getting us set for the annual spring cleanup. But how have you seen the numbers respond to the course of over a number of days and having that flexibility? Has it been positive?
Yes, it has been positive. Expanding it for that flexibility. I mean, we grew right up to about 450 volunteers. And then COVID hit, right? It's probably included in every podcast. Then COVID hit. But the last couple of years, we've been building back up. But I am happy to report we have over 380 volunteers this year. We have over 30 teams. And I just couldn't be happier. I mean, we're growing. We're getting right back up there. And I think there's a record year right upon us.
How does that make you guys feel to see it and participating in it myself? You kind of have the little bit of a friendly smack talking and who can pick up the most trash and all those things. And it's customizable because you can pick your spot and your area of town and really serve where you want. How fun has it been for you guys to kind of see that back and forth of, oh, that's great. You have 3 bags. We have 6. So step it up, that type of thing. Has it been fun over the years to kind of see it kind of be a fun thing and not a chore really, but kind of a labor of love?
Yeah, and we have the volunteers that participate in this. The age ranges from the youth, who are so important in terms of not only the idea of what is valuable here in terms of community project or just cleaning up and getting into the habit of putting their trash into a trash container rather than tossing it on the street, up to folks that are 95 years old that are out there doing their thing with participating and saying, hey, we want to make a difference too.
And truth be told, before we hit record, we were going over the numbers, and there was a jump thanks to some young people from Central. It was kind of, wait a minute, I didn't know we had that many, and it was 20-something or so from Central that jumped in and did it.
Yeah.
It's been neat to see, and I, as a competitive person, I like to see how people take creativity upon that, because you can't just say, well, I have the largest team. Within Rotary specifically, we have a couple of captains that have been routine captains. Well, I have the most past presidents of Rotary. Or I have 100% women of Rotary. So it's interesting how they go in different directions, how they can be the biggest, team or whatever. But that's been awesome to see. But yeah, Alan's right. I mean, we have, I don't want to say toddlers because, but young children with their families,
Youngins, for sure.
So everybody stays safe with their families cleaning up. And then, we have a few 90+ people that routinely clean up and even have adopted spots. I mean, what better example for all of us?
And that gets me into the why of it all. I mean, just being able to, know with you, with Boone County Solid Waste, this aligns rather well with the job, but there's more there. There's a passion. There's a mission for you, I feel. And Alan, the same kind of thing. Why is it so important to you guys to be in it for as long as you have and still have a joy and kind of a fire with it as well?
Well, first of all, because it's important. The other thing that, and I'll make a comment, this is my personal observation, but, there's so much talk and so much interest in the environment. And also, today we talk about going green. And yet it's a fundamental piece that we overlook, that's all around us every day, and that's litter. Litter is a fundamental piece of what we're talking about when it comes to the big picture, and that is something that every person can participate in. If you go around your home and just say, look, I can't solve the problems of the whole city in terms of cleanup, but I can take care of my own yard or my own home or my own street. It brings it down to where it's a workable thing, where people can handle that. I find that it's very interesting. I just had a situation this week where I happened to be at the shopping center, and there was an elderly lady who came out of the store, and there was a fast food cup that was laying there in the drive, and she put down her bag and picked up the cup and walked over and put it in a trash container. And I stopped and said, thanked her for that and introduced myself. Obviously, that was a pleasant thing for her, I think, to be recognized for doing it. But it's a simple thing. We can all do that. And we can make a difference. But to me, if everyone wants to really be able to get their hands around what they can do in terms of the big picture on environment and on this green theme, hey, just take some time to take care of yourself and take care of your own area.
And I remember a couple of years ago, there was a PSA was pass it on, and there was someone that picked up some trash, and someone saw that, and it kind of lifted them a little bit to take a step. And then that someone else saw that. It was kind of a springboard that led to big change. And it begins with maybe picking up a little bit of waste here and there and taking pride in a community.
Well, and the other thing is that sometimes we wonder, do we really make a difference in terms of whatever we're involved in? And I know that over the years, and I think Jennifer would agree, that from our street department here in the city, they've commented that when we do the Cleanest City project every spring, there is a difference. They notice a difference in terms of the amount of litter and so forth. So it's okay, then that's important.
And folks, you're listening to Jennifer Lawrence and also Allen Milburn. We're getting ready to kick off the annual spring cleanup taking place on April 20th through the 22nd. Now, guys, what happens if someone listening to this episode says, oh, I missed the deadline of April 1st. I would like to get involved in this initiative but I missed my deadline. How can they get involved still? And are there other ways that are maybe more routine, so it's not just once a year, to be able to serve a community in this way by picking up garbage?
Well, you will not be turned away. Absolutely not.
You may even get a free T-shirt too, a neon that you can see from.
Yes, and this year's a big secret. It's a big surprise. We have a new revealing of a new color, and that's what gets everybody jazzed up, right? No, you can contact the Boone County Solid Waste District any time of year that you want. If you have a group, if you have your family, if you just have yourself and you want to clean up and you just may need a little bit of guidance, we're happy to help. Or, like Alan said, take care of your own yard, take care of your own business front. If everybody did that, we'd be in really good shape. But we also have Throwaway Thursdays. So yes, our big spring cleanup's coming around the corner, but starting in May, there's one Thursday of the month. We're kind of leaning towards the last Thursday of the month this year. But we have Throwaway Thursdays. You donate your lunch hour, it's 12 to 1, and we move around the city and kind of hit those hot spots. And we all have, that happens everywhere. There's some hot spots where the wind may be a little bit stronger and people we have a few more visitors, right? So we try to
polite with that. That's very funny.
We try to clean up those areas throughout the year, and it really makes an impact. And, on those days when it's 70, 80 degrees, it is beautiful to go out on your lunch hour and then also do some good. So we have those, and those will be available on our social media. So follow us on Facebook, help make Lebanon the cleanest city. And yeah, we'd love to see you.
And I'll add all this to the body of our podcast. And wanted to wrap up with just overall success stories you guys have seen over the years of your service, where you're growing closer with a coworker or family member, or just being able to see. I know, Alan, the gal in the parking lot, I mean, that sticks out in your mind. Obviously, you brought it up here on the podcast. But other things that you've seen over the years, I know there's been a group at Central that has jumped up and had a whole army of cleaning volunteers. That may be a highlight. Any other highlights you guys have seen over the years with the cleanup?
Well, I can just mention that in our own edition, the people who volunteer to do this, as far as our edition, it's fun. You don't see everyone every day, but when they want to come together and do something as a group, it's some energy and some fun times, and I think take a lot of pride in doing that. The other thing is that, I'd like to just emphasize that this is not a 3-day project. It is a project that covers 3 days, and we call it the Cleanest City, but this is a year-round effort. It's easy to get discouraged. When you look around the city, we happen to be on an interstate highway. We have a lot of people who just pop off and stop at a fast food or come through town or whatever, and then they're back on the road. They're not here. It's no revelation here, but when you go out to the interstates and the exits and the entrances, you find a lot of litter. People go through, they'll get whatever it is, and the next thing you know, it's out the window and they're off to wherever they're going. Mm-hmm. But we're still here, and that litter is still here. And so it can become discouraging, like, oh, gosh, we work at this and all, and yet it just seems like we still have a lot to take care of, and we do. And that makes it the year-round project. But just remember, whatever you do, you've made a contribution. Makes a difference, and it's a matter of just staying with it. And I think that I would just encourage all of our citizens to say, hey, this is an important project. It's a year-round project. Day by day, if you see it, pick it up. Don't throw it out your window. Put it in a trash can. Just take care of it, and we'll have what we want. We want to have the cleanest city.
There we go. Jennifer, memories?
Yeah, we have one particular day stands out in my mind. We've talked a lot about community pride this morning and how good you feel when you make an impact, right? I was walking back from a meeting one day in the middle of the week, and what did I see but a large group of young adults, and they had adopted a spot, so they cleaned up around their area. Well, it was a nice day, and they just kept going, and they were far out of their adopt a spot area, and they were just cleaning up, and they were happy to do so, and it just made my heart so happy that it was I didn't organize it. I didn't ask someone to do that. They did it on their own.
No free awesome t-shirts.
No free awesome t-shirts. But
did.
I will say we have been very big proponents of positive reinforcement.
There we go.
So what did I do when I saw this group out cleaning up on their own? But I ran back to my office and I got Dairy Queen coupons. It's something that we've had a long-standing deal with the Lebanon Dairy Queen. They give us free coupons and we are able to hand those out. If we see someone actually litter, we say, hey, please don't litter that. And hey, here's a coupon to help remember and reinforce that. So we've been big on positive reinforcement. But you should have seen the look on that group's face. They were already happy to do it cleaning up. But then knowing they were going to get free ice cream cones, it just sealed the deal.
Boom.
So, but you know, it really made my heart happy that day to actually run into these group of young adults and see that they were making a difference and then help reinforce that.
I would just like to add that, you know, this project is really a team effort. It was a Rotary initiative, and that's still a big program for Rotary. But it also is a community effort, and I'm just proud of being a citizen of Lebanon. But when I think about the support from the city, from the mayor, from business, from other just individuals who say we want to be a part of a team and make a difference, I think that in this day and age is unique. It's special, and we ought to feel good about that team effort.
Absolutely right. Now, coming up on April 20th through the 22nd, now if you can't help during this time or you haven't signed up yet, Jennifer's giving you an out. You can stop by and you won't be turned away, everybody. You can stop by and learn more information about the Cleanest City effort on Help Make Lebanon, the cleanest city in Indiana. I'll put a link in the body of this podcast. Also, the Boone County Solid Waste District is a place to contact if you want to adopt a spot or learn more information about the effort. I'm putting information in the body of the podcast as well. Jennifer Allen, thank you so much for being here on the podcast today. Best of luck. You got the picture taken. Haven't unveiled the color of the t-shirt just yet, but we'll anxiously await. Appreciate you being here on the podcast.
We're excited. Kickoff will be Thursday, April 20th, 7 in the morning. The team captains will be coming through the Dairy Queen drive-thru, and we'll be out there handing out t-shirts and trash bags and their cleanup kits. So we're excited, hopefully, for some good weather this spring in Indiana.
There we go. Thank you for being here, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for having us. Absolutely.
And thank you for listening to this episode of the 11 Lebanon Podcast. More great episodes are coming your way soon. Take care, everybody.